Welcome to Tech Talk Thursday, Season 4, Episode 14. Show season's back again, and it's great to see that SMTAi, which was held last week, was very successful. And next week, we're expecting even more success in Munich at Productronica. One person that's managed to traverse both shows is joining me today, our roving reporter, friend and colleague, Keith Bryant. Welcome, Keith.
Hi, Trevor.
So give us a quick update on what your big takeaways were from SMTAi last week.
Well, first of all, that it happened. You could actually see people in 3 dimensions and interact with them, which, you know, it maybe sounds crazy, but for a lot of people, it was sort of almost different and, you know, really exciting. And people weren't too sure whether they should shake hands or bump elbows or whatever we should. I mean, you know, there was social distancing. There was a lot of other rules and regulations, but I mean, everything went ahead. The conference was quite successful. The numbers were obviously down on last year, which was to be expected. Yeah. And there was a little bit of juggling with some people not being able to get there. But I mean, you know, there were a lot of what I would describe as headline acts, and the general feel was very positive. There was a good buzz about the whole conference, and the 2-day expo was very well attended.
Right. Any takeaways on any new highlighted technologies that are coming out, or any good technology presentations that were sort of a bit out of the ordinary?
Okay, in terms of things that are coming out, the Neptune from Koyang, which does a lot of adhesive measurements, including very, very slick ways of measuring the thickness of conformal coating, which, you know, that's been a holy grail for a very long time, because the only real option was to microsection a board and measure it, which obviously junked the board. Right. You know, some people used to put coupons on them, but that wasn't, you know, put a coupon in the panel, but that wasn't really representative of what was happening on the board around the components. So that was probably the biggest one. And I think, you know, I don't know that a lot of people came there to see it, but you know, I interviewed Joel from Koyang, and he said that their number of visitors on the first day that they'd registered, in other words, people who were interested in their products, was 20% down from the previous year.
Wow, which, only 20%. That's just an amazing number. So it means that he got 80% of the leads that he would normally have gotten a good year.
Yeah. And I think that's, you know, that's possibly it. The numbers were down, but if you had a reason to go, then I think you went. You know, if you just wanted to go for the day out, or, you know, you just wanted to go because there was, you know, just to see what was there, I think those were the people that didn't turn up. But it seems like at the expo, the serious people were there.
Very interesting. So you did a number of interviews at the show. I'm showing on the screen now, basically, the page from Global SMT TV. For those that are watching at home, you can click on Global SMT TV and scroll down to SMTAi 2021, and you'll see all of the interviews that Keith did at the show. And there's still more to be added to that list, and they'll be up there shortly. So well done, and congratulations on a great show.
Thank you. It was definitely fun, and it was definitely wonderful to be out there and, you know, talking to people like Dave Hillman, who's just about to retire, Chuck Bauer, who very, very rarely sits in front of a microphone, and also Dave Raby and some others. You know, they had some really good stuff to talk about.
Right, great. So coming up after the break, we're going to talk about the big one, which is coming up next week. It's in your background at the moment. Of course, it's Productronica 2021. So welcome back. And Keith, of course, next week, we're all heading to Munich. It's going to be an interesting week. Unfortunately, COVID's is spiking rather high over in Germany at the moment, but I don't think that's going to stop us because obviously, if you're fully vaccinated, you have to be fully vaccinated to be able to get into the hall. So what are your thoughts on how the show is going to go for us next week?
Well, it's obviously different than SMTAi because SMTAi is really a very, very high level conference, which has an expo attached to it, whereas Productronica is, almost specifically an exhibition.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen of the floor space, there's quite a few people filling it up. Some of the guys have got fairly large stands. Some of them have gone smaller than they normally do. But I think, there will be a good audience. I'm not sure of audience from the US because, there's still a bit of a worry between people from the US getting into Germany. But I've already talked to 5 people from Asia who are already in Germany waiting for the show.
Great. Okay. Well, we've got a very extensive live program at the show next week. Again, you can see on your screen for those of you that are viewing at home, if you scroll down to Productronica 2021, it takes you to the Productronica page. But then if you scroll down the page, you'll see here, this is the area where we will be broadcasting live links directly from the show. And we even have a chat box at the side, so you'll be able to put your comments in during the broadcast. The program itself is below here, and starting off with on Tuesday, we've got our first Live at Productronica event where I'll be starting off with Ajit Minocha from SMTAi organization and also talking about some of the latest mergers and acquisitions in the industry. Following that, we've got panel discussions, and then Keith, you've got your first show coming up at 12 noon. Some of these guests that are coming in are going to be coming in remotely because not everybody's going to be able to make it to the show. Any thoughts on how we're going to how it's going to go next week in that way?
I think it's going to be interesting. For the technical guys, it's going to be very challenging. You volunteered me for a 30-minute live spot with as many interesting people as I can get on each day. And at the moment we're still not really sure who's going to go there, and who's going to be in the firing line to sit down in the hot seat, so to speak. So yeah, well, I think it's going to be interesting and challenging, but I think there's a lot of people in Europe have waited a long time for this.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to, it's interesting. We've done a number of live events in recent months, and I think for our AV team, our technical crew, it shouldn't be too difficult. One of the interesting things is, as you say, some people have been cancelling, not being able to get to the show, this type of thing, and they were on the original list for some of these interviews. And what we've done is we just switched it to they're coming in remotely rather than visiting in person. So it's going to be one of these weeks where things are going to perhaps change at the last minute, but certainly we do have a lot of people lined up for all of these panel discussions throughout the week. And of course, the highlight of the first day, at the end of the first day at 6 o'clock Central European time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we've got the Global Technology Awards. And of course, anybody's welcome to join and watch these. They'll be shown on the player above on here, and also on Facebook, LinkedIn, and I believe Twitter. So you can access it from any of these places. On the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, the Live at Productronica show will move to the 5:30 p.m. slot Central European time, which is 9:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. And this is to enable some of our American guests who can't make it to the show to be able to catch up on what's happening in Munich. So an exciting week. We're looking forward to it. We hope everybody's going to join us. And Keith, I think final word from you.
Yeah, I think if anybody's indecisive about going, definitely book a flight, get there, even if it's only for a day, because I think there's going to be a lot of new stuff. I mean, SMTAi had a few new things there, But, you know, a lot of people have been waiting for, let's say, a major global show to launch products. And, you know, I think it's going to be a very interesting show. Yeah, it's going to be a little different. It's maybe going to have a little bit less footfall. But again, I think, you know, there'll be good stuff to see. And I think if you have some interests in getting new equipment, then, you know, it's been the best place for the last 18 months.
And there you have it. I mean, there's certainly been, there's a lot of new tech coming out, and we're going to be featuring all of it next week. So make sure and join us. Until then, this is Trevor Galbraith saying thank you very much for joining us, and we'll look forward to keep seeing you next week at Productronica in Munich.